What's up YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D, your Techno Dad here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 65-inch Vizio M Series 4K LED TV with Dolby Vision. And we're going to get into it right after the jump. I'm back. Now if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about 4K, home theater and audio products and how to set them up properly, you should consider subscribing because I'm here to help. And don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified when I do a live stream to answer your questions or when the next video gets released. Well, now that all that housekeeping is out of the way, let's get into it. Alright everybody, so before we begin, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Vizio for sponsoring this video. And don't worry, even though this is a sponsored video, you will be getting my honest opinion about this TV. So hey, if you guys are in the market for a 65-inch 4K TV, you should definitely check out the Vizio M65-F0. It is in the budget range, or at least what I categorize as the budget range, coming in at $1,000 for a 65-inch TV. That's a pretty good price right there. Now it's got 48 zones of local dimming. It's got 600 nits of peak brightness. It's got Chromecast built in. It also has compatibility with both Alexa and Google Assistant if you're into that whole voice thing. So, like I said, for $1,000, hey, let's go see what's in the box and check out this TV. Yeah. Now, getting this out of the box was a challenge by myself, so I enlisted the help of my teenager to get this on the dining room table. Now, you will need someone to hold the box at the bottom while you slide the TV out from the top. We then laid the TV down on a soft towel so I can install the feet. It's a very simple process that requires a Phillips head screwdriver. Now for those needing to wall mount, you'll need a 400mm by 200mm VESA compatible mount. Also in the box you get a remote, batteries for the remote, a power cable, and a user manual. Now I was pretty surprised at the way this TV looks. The bezel-less design fits in well with my glass and metal TV stand and looks super sweet. At its thinnest toward the top, it's about 1.5 inches in thickness. And its thickest toward the bottom, it measures about 2.25 inches. The back of the TV has a nice textured plastic with a big Vizio V in the center. Now if you're rocking a soundbar, you have just under 3 inches of clearance before you start obstructing your view of the screen. From left foot to right foot, the TV measures 51 inches. And from front to back, the feet measure just over 11 inches for those of you needing to put this on a TV stand. Alright, let's see how we can hook this thing up. On the right side of the TV, we have a few connections. USB, a component input with analog audio in, and HDMI input number 4. On the back, the bottom connections include 3 HDMI inputs, HDMI input number 1 being the HDMI ARC, which I'll show you how to set up later on in the video. Continuing on, we have an audio output section consisting of digital optical and analog RCA outs. To round out the TV connections, we have a TV tuner, an Ethernet port for a wired internet connection, and on the other end of the TV we have the power port. Alright, so that's it for connectivity. Why don't we fire this thing up and see what this Chromecast is all about. During the initial turn on, I connected to Wi-Fi and the TV began to update itself. After that, I got to the SmartCast home screen and I noticed your basic smart apps. We mainly use Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, and YouTube apps in our house. Now I wanted to jump in and see if we get any Dolby Atmos pass-through through the ARC, so why don't we go ahead and set up ARC right now. So I have the TV connected via HDMI ARC, which is HDMI input number 1, with my Denon AV receiver. To set up ARC, I press the menu button, scroll down to audio, And I have the following settings. Speakers are set to off, volume control display set to on, surround sound off, volume leveling off, balance 0, and lip sync 0. Digital audio output I set to bitstream. You can set this to auto if you like, but I like to force it to bitstream so I know if there's Atmos, I'm getting Atmos. Analog output I have to fixed, and I did not change the EQ. Now if you're having lip sync issues, go up to the lip sync area and adjust that slider to, compensate from any lip sync issues you are receiving. I personally didn't have any lip sync issues. I used a Nakamichi 7.2 soundbar system. Didn't have any lip sync issues there. And I used my Denon with SVS setup and didn't have any lip sync issues there as well. But if you do need to adjust anything, this is where you do it. Now, one thing that was unfortunate is that Netflix does not support Dolby Atmos pass-through through the ARC for this TV. So that kind of sucks. However, we do get Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision through the Vudu app on the TV. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can get that double D with this TV. So I popped in Jumanji, and I got Dolby Atmos on my AV receiver, the Denon, and I got Dolby Vision on the Vizio M series. So very cool. I'm stoked about that. Now don't worry, if you are using Netflix, you still get Dolby Digital Plus, still 5.1, still digital audio, so you're good to go there. Just not Atmos. So, maybe Netflix and Vizio can work together to, change that up. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Now, since I just talked about Dolby Vision, why don't we go ahead and talk about the HDR compatibility of this TV. So we can get HDR10 and Dolby Vision from an external source like 4K player through HDMI ports. My Xbox One X also was outputting HDR10, and HDR gaming is good to go as well. As far as streaming apps, Dolby Vision works on both Netflix and the Vudu app, and some Vudu content does output in HDR10, so you got that there as well. One thing I do want to mention, the YouTube app in the TV does support HDR. Now when you have an HDR signal coming into the TV, the top info bar rolls down and you see either HDR10 or the Dolby Vision logo up in the right. It's kind of toward the center-ish, not in the right corner, but toward the center-ish. Right here, you guys can check that out. If it's HDR10, it says HDR10, and like I said, if it's Dolby Vision, you'll get the Dolby Vision logo. All right, next let's talk about what everybody wants to know. What is the picture quality like? Come on, Techno Dad, give it up. What is it like? All right, so it took me about 4 to 5 days to find some good settings and something where I was actually enjoying TV, whether it was 4K content, whether it was 1080, whatever. Everything was starting to kind of mesh and look good with the settings I have. Now, if you're interested in the settings I'll put a down in the description so you guys can check it out and maybe try it out. But like I said in my other video about settings and calibration, these settings will work for me in my viewing environment, but they probably might not work for you. But if you want to try it out, go for it. So after I figured out these settings, I noticed that the full array with local dimming, or FALD, looked great. Like the blacks looked black. They looked deep, they looked black. Even the black uniformity was great. We watched the Stranger Things Season 2 on the Netflix app on the TV, and there's scenes where it's just like pitch black, there's a little bit of like water on the ground, and maybe 1 or 2 characters, and that looked very, very convincing. We watched it at night most of the time, so it was kind of like, blending into the background. Now I know there's another competitor that has a 65-inch 4K TV with way more local dimming zones, but they have a whole host of problems with quality control, and there was a big, how do you do about all this? So if you are looking for a 65-inch LED TV for $1,000 that has full array with local dimming, or FALD, definitely check out this M series, because some of the competitors, are having some issues. Now we just got Ready Player One in the mail last week, and I popped that into the Cambridge CX UHD 4K Blu-ray player. That is going through my Denon receiver and then making its way to the TV. So again, we do have Dolby Vision and we do have Dolby Atmos. And I gotta say, you know, the colors were great, and yeah, some of the highlights weren't as bright as they could have been, and that's due to the, you know, peak brightness being around 600 as opposed to being like 1,000 on more expensive sets. But hey, you know, still a great experience, and for the price, I don't think you can go wrong. All right, let's move on to 4K HDR gaming. You guys may know, if you're, you know, with the channel, I like to play Call of Duty, you know, 4K HDR, online multiplayer, and I was wasting these fools. And it was great, you know, my scores were up, and I attribute that to the very, very low input lag. I don't know exactly what the number is, but it was pretty low. Like, I have TVs in my house that aren't as low as this, and another one that is kind of the same. So I can tell when the input lag is high or low. You know, I don't really have the measuring tools for it. I'm sure you can find that information on a different site. But for me, in my experience, just actually playing, it was pretty awesome. Alright, as far as Chromecast is concerned, it's pretty cool. I sit around on my iPad and my iPhone just kind of, you know, searching through YouTube videos, and it's great for me to just, you know, hit that little rectangle button and cast the video off to the TV, and it just starts playing. It's fantastic. I can control, you know, I can rewind, fast forward in the video. I can queue up another video or just go to another video. So very convenient, super easy to use. So it gets my approval. Alright guys, so you've heard me singing the praises of this Vizio M series TV. Now it's time to talk about the drawbacks. Okay, now the biggest one, and it's really hard to not notice this, it's that when you're viewing the TV from an off angle, right, you're gonna have colors that wash out. Plain and simple. Now this is just a normal thing that happens with LCD LED TVs. It's just an inherent issue with that technology. Now if you're viewing straight on, you're good to go. But like, we have a couch to the side. If we're sitting on the couch, the color's washed out. Or if we're at the dining table over here and looking at the TV, colors are washed out. So, you know, if you have a big open living room area, then this TV might not be for you. However, if you have like a just straight on situation where there's a big couch and you're usually, you know, dead center or just a little bit off to the sides, you're probably good to go, and this is a TV you should look at. But like I said, if you're in a big room and you're going side to side, colors wash out, so might not be the TV for you. Now I do have a couple of complaints about the Chromecast operating system. As far as load times, it is a little bit sluggish. If you press the big B button, which is the home button, you see a little spinning circle for a little while before you get to the home screen. So that is kind of lame. But I did find out if you use the dedicated buttons on the remote, like there's one for Netflix and there's one for Vudu, if you press those, it goes into the apps pretty quickly. So that's a nice little workaround, but that's only, you know, if your favorite app is on the remote itself. So at least Vudu's there and Netflix there. I don't think Hulu's there, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, the second thing that I don't like about the Chromecast operating system is that I can't move the tiles for the apps. The apps are like at the bottom, and I can't move those around or rearrange them. I couldn't find it anywhere online about rearranging them, and I did see somebody else complaining about the fact that you can't rearrange them, so I'm going to go out on the limb here and say you cannot rearrange them, and that's pretty much that. So I don't like that because I like to be able to kind of customize my experience on the home screen. Alright, so let's get down to it. Who is this TV for? Look, if you're in the market for a 4K TV and you want something in the 65-inch range for about $1,000, you should definitely check out the Vizio M series. Now, it also depends on your viewing environment. If you have a situation where your TV is straight on to your couch or your, you know, seating position, then this is probably going to be a good bet for you, and you should definitely go check it out in a store and you know look at all the other competition and see what's up. Now, I was able to get some good picture quality out of it after fiddling around with certain settings. So if you need help with that, check out the description box and you'll, you know, just put them in and see what happens, and maybe you'll have to change a little brightness, you know, because I have everything's set a little higher because there's like 20 windows in my living room. Not really that many, but if you like gaming, it's got super low input lag, and if you like to stream on Vudu, you're getting Dolby Atmos pass-through via ARC, and you're getting Dolby Vision. If you're into Netflix, you get Dolby Vision through Netflix. Yeah, you only get 5.1 Dolby Digital Plus, and hopefully that can change in the future. I don't know. Overall, I think this is a great value for somebody jumping into 4K. Or if you're having a gaming room setup or a man cave setup where all you do is watch movies on streaming or 4K Blu-rays, and you want an inexpensive-ish or budget range-ish 65-inch TV, definitely check out the M65-F0. So once again, a big shout out and thank you to Vizio for sending this TV in for review. Thank you so much, guys. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys liked it, go ahead and smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.